everybody. Welcome back to No Love Lost 2.0. I'm Zafir, your host, and today is a new episode you guys about to get. And I just want to go back in time and tell y'all a little story about some experiences that I've had. And some of it's going to make you chuckle. Some of it's going to be like, wait a minute, that happened? Yeah, it happened. That's some real life shit. It happens. It happens to anybody. Nobody is exempt from bullshit. So years ago, back in like 2016, I was dating this man. At first I had met him on it wasn't Grinder. I think it was Jack. I met him on Jack, and then a friend of mine tried to introduce us and was like, "Oh, hey, y'all should talk." But mind you, I didn't even know I already had spoke to this person before. So then he was like, "Okay." Me and the guy traded pictures through my friend. I sent the guy a picture to my friend, and the guy sent a picture to me. I said, "Oh, he's cute." He said, "Oh, he's cute." Boom, nothing ever happened. Like a day later, the guy hits me up on Jack. Same guy. I'm like, wait a minute. I know you. My friend was trying to have me talk to you the other day. First of all, why the fuck did my friend sit up there and basically hook me up with a nigga with no job, no aspiration, no education, a bum ass nigga? I just was like, damn. I didn't see it like that because I was younger. My mentality was like, oh, he just going through shit. You know how when you're younger, sometimes you will accept more things than you won't when you get older. So this person and I, we end up interacting, doing grown folk stuff for a while. For like a few months, we chatted it up. Mind you, this dude had his boyfriend dropping him off. He had his boyfriend dropping him off to my house to get fucked. It really made no like, and I'm so serious because I'm like, yo, who car you driving? Because you ain't got no car. The one time I had to put my car in the shop, and he was like, "Oh, I can come pick you up from work." This nigga went and got his ex boyfriend's car from from him, picked me up from work, and then brought me to the shop to see if my car was almost done. And mind you, I didn't know this was this dude's car. It was a minivan, so I'm like, I ain't no dude that's young owning no minivan. Like that was my mentality. Like I wasn't even thinking this was possibly somebody he was messing with minivan because I'm just like a minivan. We in our early 20s. Who the hell driving a minivan? We in our early 20s. So, and that's not to be mean or nothing, but come to find out, what happened was the young man kept dropping him off. So one day, I said, "Let me sit in my car." I'm sitting in front of my house in my car, and he's like, "Oh, I'm about to get dropped off. I'm about to have my friend drop me off." I said, "You sure you don't want me to pick you up?" He said, "No, because I got to get money out the ATM." But I'm confused. How you get money at the ATM? You ain't got no job. You only get food stamps. So, but I said, okay, word. He was like, "Oh, I got all the goods that we need for the weekend, whatever." I'm like, "All right, bet, cool." And I was like, "Oh, I ain't gotta pay for it. You just pulling up with all the party stuff. Oh, we about to have a time this weekend." That's what my thought is. This man, this man took his boyfriend at the time to the ATM, had this dude take out like $150, and then had him take him to the bud man. And then came with the liquor and everything. But see, I didn't know this because at the time we just having a good time. I'm not thinking about what you got going on because to me it's not that serious. We just having fun. We getting to know each other. It's not that deep. So we just enjoying ourselves, being grown. This dude, I sit in the car. I'm like, "Yo, your friend about to drop you off?" Yeah. So I was like, I went right out to my car, sat in my car, my windows were tinted. I sat in my car. I watched him get out that same minivan. So I'm thinking, oh, this a girl. Like, cause it's a minivan. So I'm like, oh, it must be one of his homegirls' car he was using. Cause he never like said it was a man or a woman. He just said my friend, and it wasn't my issue to press. We ain't together yet. And the dude said, he walks away from the car, and the dude says, come here, give me a kiss, give me a kiss." And I'm looking like, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't get out the car and act no fool because, like I said, he wasn't my dude yet. We was just talking and messing around. But he was like, "Come here." And he was like, "Oh, I really don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that," to the guy. And he was like, "Come on, please, please. I gave you a ride and I gave you money." Like when I sat in the car, I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. Is he supplying our weekend fun? I gotta be quiet." So he go in the house. He goes to the back. I left the back door open because I lived in the back apartment of a high range. And he sat up there. He went through the back or whatever. He get inside. He called me like, "Yo, where you at?" I said, "Oh, I'm coming." I said, "I was in my car." He got quiet when I said I was in my car because he knew right then and there. I saw it. Soon as I walked inside, I looked at him. I was like, "Yo, what's up?" He was like, "Listen, before you get upset, da 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 da." I'm like, "I ain't upset." I said, "He paid for all of this." He was like, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, that's your dude." He was like, "No, we not together right now. We broke up." I said, "Well, if I'm raw dogging you, I don't want to be raw dogging you. Somebody else is raw dogging you." I said, "So I think I'm gonna be good on you." He was like, "Oh no, no, no. I ain't slept with him in a long time." I'm like, "Yeah, okay. That's what they all say. Oh, I ain't slept with him in a long time. You full of shit." But he was like, "No, I'm serious." He was like, "I really have not slept with him." I said, "How is this dude giving you money and let you use his car? You telling me you ain't giving him no ass?" So he was like, "No, I'm really not doing nothing with him." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna hold it. Like it's a big deal." So one day I'm about to pull up to his house around Christmas time. I met him at the end of October of 2016. So I'm about to pull up around his house around Christmas time. Mind you, we are now officially dating. Now we are officially dating. We are officially in a relationship, even though I shouldn't have even done that dumb shit because of what I already had seen. So I get there, it's around like December 18th or whatever. Um, it was our anniversary. Like we had just started dating. I see the minivan at the house. I'm like, wait a minute, what? I see the minivan and the dude is sitting in the minivan and they having a conversation. I guess I told him, "Leo, I'm about to pull up to pick you up." He was like, "All right, I already got my bag packed by the door." He said, but I had told him I was going to pull up, but I actually had took longer. I think I had took like another hour and a half to go get him. Mind you, he lived 5 minutes down the road from me. We lived off the same road, Wicks Road in Brentwood. So we lived up the same road. So I go down there. I just pull up and I just pull up next to the car and I just start smiling like, "So this is what we doing?" Like, this is this who you are? Like I was just like, okay. I was like, "Yo, what's going on?" He's like, "Oh no, he wants his bag back. He got me a Christmas gift. He got me a bag." He got you a bag. Mind you, me and this nigga got this nigga the same bag. I had got him the same bag. He asked me for the bag. He asked him for the bag. We both got him the bag. I said, "Oh, I'm returning the bag now." And he said he returning the bag. So he was like, "Oh, he want his bag back." And the dude got out the car. The dude like, I'm 6'3" almost, and the dude maybe had to be like 6'4", a little taller than me, slinky or whatever. He like, "Oh, how long you been sleeping with my boyfriend? I've been dropping him off to your house." I was like, "That's my boyfriend now." I said, and far as I know, he told me I was on a break that y'all never came back from. "Oh, we was on a break, but I was giving him money and letting him use my car. He said we were gonna work on it." I said, that. I said, "Whoa, wait a minute." So I'm like, "Yo, what the hell going on here?" And he was like, "Oh, um, get back, Terrence, get back." He was like, "Because I don't want Zafir to do nothing to you." I was like, "Wait, are you defending him?" He was like, "No, I'm going with you, but I know you're going to beat him up." I said, "I'm not going to beat this man up." I said, "This man didn't do nothing to me." I said, "He disrespect me, then yeah, it's going to be a situation." So the dude was like, "Can I just talk to you?" I was like, "Go ahead, talk." So my ex went and got his bag, and I was like, "Are y'all really together or not?" He was like, "Well, we were supposed to be getting back together and we've been going on dates and working on it." I said, "Okay, well, I've been raw dogging him for the last 2 months and pumping my cum in him." And that's how I said it. Now, I know that I was young, so I wanted to insult him. I wanted to let him know, like, yeah, I'm nothing in your nigga. I wanted, but now he mine. But the dude was like, "Oh, what? Y'all been having sex? Oh, he hasn't had sex with me in 6 months." I said, "Oh, shit." My ex was telling the truth because he had told me. He was like, "I don't sleep with him." But I said, "How you been together 3 years and your niggas not give you no ass for 6 months and you think that's normal? You think that's normal that your bottom as a top is not giving you no ass for 6 months?" Nah, I already know. Let a bottom not give me ass for 6 months. Who you fucking? It's not even who you fucking. When you fucking them? Because I'm trying to calculate this shit because ain't no way 6 months go by and you don't fuck at all. So I told him, I said, yeah, well, I've been raw dogging him for the last 2.5 months. I've been raw dogging him since the end of October. This nigga was hurt. When I say he looked like he wanted to cry, that's when I started feeling bad. I was like, oh my God. I was like, yo, you want a hug? I was like, you really love him? He was like, I love him. And then he got in a whole other relationship and I'm finding out this way. I said, well, you was following us. So you should have just asked me as a man when you came to my house. I said, you should have just asked me, like, yo, you fucking with him? Because he told you I was a friend. And that's another reason why I should have left that nigga alone. Like, how I end up with this man into 2021, y'all. I was with this man from 2016 to 2021. How did I end up that long dealing with somebody that was that sick to hurt somebody like that? And don't get me wrong, I don't think I'm innocent in the situation because once I knew, I should have just been done with it, but I wasn't. So I just wanted to give y'all a little story about that and tell y'all a little bit more on how other things transpired throughout that relationship. So then the other things that would happen was, so we get in a relationship, he still ain't got no job. Now, mind you, I'll give y'all a little backstory. His grandmother did have dementia, and he did take care of her. He was her sole caregiver. I'll give him that. I always said he always had a good caring heart for his grandmother. That's the fuck it, though. And then his mother was a pill popper. His daddy was a crackhead, and his brother was a crack dealer. So like, I think the sister was the only one with a good head on her shoulder that saw something happening for her life. I hope she's doing well. But what it comes down to is, so then I still stay with him, and I remember we together like officially a good month or two. It's after New Year's. You know that this man came to my house. He drove to my house in his mother's car with a 7-Eleven cup of coffee and couldn't even walk a straight line, falling, walking straight. Couldn't even walk straight. Literally was all over the place. Like, I had to grab him like, yo, bro, what are you doing? Like, you know how my neighbor across the road is a cop. I say, you out here falling all over the place. Like, I said, what is going on? I didn't know he was addicted to Percocets. Now, this is how I got into a relationship with somebody that was an addict, and I didn't even know. And mind you, the friend who hooked me up with him knew he was an addict and still hooked me up from him. So it did make me at one point question the integrity of the person that I called my friend. Because if you're my friend, why would you put me in place with someone who you already knew had issues that I had no dealings with, or I never would deal with the situation? But now I have fell in love with this person to now it's too late for me to just sit here and say, oh, fuck it. Because now I'm invested. So what came down to is he was just like, oh, it's, I got in a car accident, so that's why it's my Percocets. So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe he just, had a little side effect to it. No, this nigga was popping perks like candy pops. Like, he was popping perks like Skittles. Now, I didn't know nothing about that life, you know what I mean? So I just was like, at first, I didn't recognize what it was. Now, mind you, something had happened to me where I ended up getting Percocets from getting hurt. And I got like 90 Percocets. And this man, like, this is because I actually was in a real whole accident. This man stole my medication. Stole my medication. We only 5 months dating. He stole 15 of my pills. And you know how I noticed it? You know what? I should have knew he had a problem because I hid the pill bottle inside my robe in my bathroom, thinking like, oh, he's not, why would he even? First of all, he shouldn't even been looking for my pills. Two, that's one. And then two, what it came down to is, I shouldn't even have to hide them, but the fact that I did, that should have told me right there. That was another reason, a red flag. And I sat up there. What happened? Okay, so I went and I felt my bottle. I was like, yo, this bottle feel light. I just got these from the doctor. I'm supposed to take these 3 times a day. This man sat up there and I said, did you take some of my stuff? He was like, oh, I was going to give you, I was going to tell you that. So why would you just take it if you was going to tell me? Why would you just take something from me if you were going to tell me? Why didn't you just say, hey, I need X, Y, and Z. Can you help me out? And I would have told you no, because you get your own. So why would you steal from me? Mind you, I didn't always take my perks 3 times a day because sometimes I wasn't in pain like that. So I only would take them once or twice a day. He was stealing it. So he gave me back like 8. I'm like, dude, I just got these yesterday. You 8 out of 15 you stole. There's only 8 left. You took almost 7. There's no way you taking 7 of those in a matter of maybe 32 hours. That is not normal. Not even 32 hours. It was like 24 hours and maybe 30 hours, if that. So he stole that big red flag. Still stayed with it. I never had anybody break in my apartment. I never had anybody steal any money from me. I've never had any situations like that. But guess what? I left my rent money in a drawer, and I was gonna go pay my landlord. And when I got home, after he had cleaned my apartment up, he said, "Oh, I'll clean your apartment up and I'll wash your clothes." Like catering to me, like washing my clothes. I'm like, oh, okay, like I see you, like I see what you're trying to do. I respect that, you know. And then this fool $400 went missing from my damn rent money. Where the hell was it at? I don't know. And neither did he, and neither did anybody else. Yet he was the only person with a key to my apartment. Why the hell did I give somebody I was dating 6 months a key to my apartment, y'all? Out of control, real slow, real slow. Like that's what I was. I feel like when you young and you getting older, you have that period of slowness. like you just don't be seeing the red flags, and they be screaming at you like red flag, red flag, red flag, and you still mess with them. The money went missing, couldn't find it. I said I always leave the money right here when I'm about to pay rent the next day. This man offered to lend me the money. Yeah. How you offer to lend me the money with no job? So you offered to lend me back my own money. And even his own damn mama said, "Oh, he probably stole your money. Because he be stealing." I said, "No, I did not know that." When I tell y'all, I stopped talking to my friend that hooked me up with him for 2 years and still stayed with him. Why? I don't know. But I said, how are you going to hook me up with somebody that got all these issues? Got drinking issues, drug issues. I said, and then I'm already invested in them. So it's not a situation for me just to easily just get up and walk away. It was harder than that. And then what it came down to is, okay, so now we 2 years in. I'm still living down the road from him. We still going through our little arguments or whatever. I'm still catching him in bullshit lies and stuff. I still was, shit. I was like, okay, you gonna bullshit me? I'm gonna bullshit you, but I'm gonna do it worse. I'm always like an advocate for. Not now that I'm older, I don't believe in all that get back. Now it's just like, no, it's not pointless. Just walk away. But back then, it was just like, oh, I'm gonna get your ass back. I'm gonna make sure you feel this shit. I'm gonna make sure that I don't even need you to know, but I'm gonna know. And every time I think about it, it's gonna make me smile that I know what I did. That really would have you fucking sick, throwing up in the toilet, leaned over, bent over, losing your damn mind. So, that was my mindset back then. So then what it came down to is a little bit later on, his grandma ended up passing away. So he like, oh, my grandma passed, like he found her dead or whatever. Shit, they neglected that lady in my opinion. If I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, like the house stank like cigarettes and old people. Like other than him, I give him that. He always took care of his grandmother to the best of his abilities. But the rest of the family, nah, they just was taking out grandma's Social Security and her pension. That's what they was doing, was eating her pension up and stealing her pain meds. That's what they was doing. They was taking her pain meds and selling them and taking them and abusing them, because him and his mom were both on Percocet. They were both perkheads. And the craziest thing is he would talk all this shit about how she'd be slumped over on the toilet, send videos of her slumped over on the toilet. Yet he was doing the same thing. Like one time we was talking and then he just was holding a cigarette in his hand, leaned over. I said, what the hell? Like, I'm like, wow, I never experienced something like this before. This is some crazy ass shit. But that was the situation. So then after that, he tried to get himself together off that perk life. I told him, yeah, you got to change, bro. You don't want to be like your mama. Your daddy a crackhead, your mama a perkhead. Like, come on. Your parents look crazy. And they was too young to be looking crazy at the time. It was in their late 40s. They looked like they was in their late 60s. Like late 60s and on drugs. So whatever the case may be, this man told me that one time he stole some drugs from his brother and tried it. And now his brother is a whole rock dealer. And he sat up there and let his brother try. Like it's talking about he tried it. I said, what is wrong with you? Like nobody just tries stuff. Like your mother never told. Well, never mind. I forgot who your mother was. And who your father was, that they both drug addicts, because you do no, the drug thing, that's a big no, we don't do that, so I respect anybody's life choices. Everybody does what they do, don't get me wrong. The green has been my friend before, but other than that, it ends there. That whole want to jump into the rock style lifestyle, other than having a drink and getting tore up on some liquor, it's not that deep. Not to be trying no crack now. And like this man trying crack and gonna say, "Oh, I didn't feel nothing." You a damn lie. You crackhead. Yeah. And then after that situation, so his grandma had died. He gonna tell me, "Oh, I just wanted to let you know that I want to call my ex because I want to let him know my grandma died." I said, "What?" Now, mind you, this is the ex that caught him cheating on him with me. I said, "You want to call your ex to let him know your grandma died?" Okay, sure. That's fine. I appreciate you telling me and being transparent. But at the same time, you're full of shit. I'm not stupid. So then he's like, "Oh yeah," and then so he called his ex was like, "Okay, why are you calling me telling me your grandma dead?" Like I said, no, but I said I'm not trying to be funny. And I did feel bad that his grandma died because I didn't know her before her dementia. I knew her only I think 2.5 years before she passed away. I was with him like 4.5 years. And I will say she was a sweet lady. I don't know her before her dementia. She already had dementia by the time I met her. She knew my name, so I knew that people used to talk that shit about me or something because she knew my name very well. She knew how to say my name, and not everybody know how to say Sophia without messing it up and thinking it's something else that is crazy. It's exactly how it sounds. Zafir. And whatever the case may be. So he sat up there and was like, "Yo," so his ex was like, "Okay, your grandma died. So what you like? What does that have to do with me?" He was like, "Oh, I thought you would care because you was around my grandmother before she had dementia and all this." He was like, "I have a new life, a new man. This is none of my business." And I said, you look stupid, and you making me look stupid too, because you literally contact this man for what? To tell him that your grandma died? Man, when I say you know what, and see, I'm not a victim. I could be honest, and say I'm not a victim because I would do him dirty. I would do him dirty too. Like I would, because I was just like at the time, no, he wasn't doing me dirty or doing that with nobody, but he was playing in my face. He was playing in my face. And I was like, you only get to play in my face once. You played in my face when you had your ex dropping you off. So, whatever the case would be. So I definitely have to go into a part two because this is long, but I think you guys are going to enjoy this story time. So this is part one of I question a lot about myself and self-love with this person. So we'll see how I title this, but I hope you guys enjoy part one and keep showing that love to No Love Lost 2.0. You can catch me on iHeartRadio. You can catch me on Apple. You can catch me on Spotify. And that's No Love Lost 2.0. That's No Love Lost 2.0. I'm Zafir. And make sure you share this podcast. Keep showing that love and subscribe. And as well as get on YouTube. We are on YouTube as well, so you can watch videos on the YouTube channel, and you can even catch some live episodes because I do go live sometimes when I record episodes. I appreciate all the love. One, what y'all know about that? One love.